a unified whole. And it might appear still to you, if you're in your egoic consciousness, of course, it'll appear as if there's two forces battling each other, good versus evil. I mean, that's how the egoic mind needs to see the world. The egoic mind is built on the necessity of conflict. The spiritual minds, what we're moving into, there's no such thing as conflict. That's why I've talked before about the principles of flow. There's flow and there's the transformation that comes with fire. I mean, the elements will show us this is what's real. As things change, it's not like there's conflict. There's dissolution of old forms so that in the empty space, the new will arise. This is guaranteed. It's the promise of our evolutionary journey. There was never any doubt about it. And I can think back to, the very early days when I became aware of this and my role in it, 1974. So, and it's never changed in my consciousness. The reality of what's happening today has always been the reality. I was actually always kind of wondering, even in 2012, like, what's going to precipitate this shift? Well, guess what? 2019, it started. I mean, obviously it started decades before, but it really came together in a very unified plan. Okay, you could say that Bill Gates and George Soros and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all of the beings, those on Earth and those, if there are such a thing, those beings in other realms, all came together. It's like in the space-time world, it's always been part of a plan, okay? But the key is to actually see it manifesting for real. It's like, holy shit, look at that. They manufactured this virus and manufactured this thing to get everybody sort of on the same page. Oh my God. Some people are just really afraid. Some people are more like me, like excited, like, holy shit, wow, look at this. There's this thing that's bringing everybody together, okay? And, and again, it might appear that they're taking sides, but the focus is really on the one thing. The focus is really on the evolution of our species and our planet. That's what's at stake. So it's a big picture thing. It's no longer, old agendas were always about, well, what's going on over in Europe? What's going on over in China? What's going on over here? Now, suddenly the globe, the world, one family. Right now, with a lot of discord, but to see it as this beautiful, necessary, evolution operates out of this saying that's represented in, necessity is the mother of invention. Okay, so we need to create the necessity for a new earth. And we see the necessity as being well established. If we don't create a new earth, then essentially we're finished. The old earth is gone. So if there's no new earth, then there's nothing. So, and some people would say, if you get attracted to like a non-dual teacher like Adyashanti or whatever, there's a bunch of them, they'll always say, well, the world's not real anyway, none of this matters. So it's like oblivion is what we want. Well, for me, there was a big shift in my interest in my spiritual path via my work with A Course in Miracles, because Jesus was very clear about, no, this is not about oblivion. This is not about everybody just being exterminated and, living in a paradise outside of space and time. It was very clear 2,000 plus years ago and very clear now that the agenda of the Christ mind was to create heaven on earth here to transform the world, okay? Very clear line saying the end of the world is not its destruction, but its translation into heaven. Okay, so the end of the world, which is what we are in right now, okay, so the world as it was is ending. Be very clear about that. The world as it was is ending. So a new, whether you call it new world order or birthing a new earth, that's what's happening. And basically, okay, so you could say at the egoic level, this is where again most people reside, you can choose. You can choose to be part of the new world order or to be part of birthing a new earth. It's kind of like Stephen King's book, The Stand. I don't know if you remember that book, but people had to choose between good and evil, good represented by this group that was gathering in Boulder, Colorado, and evil by this group that was gathering in Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, that's how the egoic mind would understand it. So at the egoic level, if you want to understand what's going on, you need to make a stand. You need to choose to be either fighting or joining or whatever, but your relationship, if it's with the New World Order, then you're talking about extermination, you're talking about FEMA camps, you're talking about whatever. It's not a pretty picture. If you're talking about a new earth, wow, whole different picture. Beauty, peace, harmony, love. I mean, those are the conditions of a new earth. And those are real. They exist right now. They exist. You could come down here and hang out with me in Ecuador, and that would be your reality every day. There's no forced vaccinations here. There's no forced masks here. There's none of that. It doesn't exist. And it never did exist. It never will exist. So it's a very important time for each of you to pay attention, to listen, to not be overwhelmed by the voice that wants to scare you, that wants to make you angry, that wants to keep you stuck in your tribal and egoic condition. The voice that's speaking through me, and I'm sure others, all around the planet is saying, it's time. It's time. Make a choice. Make a choice. Hopefully you make a choice that's for beauty and love and expansion. But if not, if the choice is to sort of go down with the Titanic, the sinking ship, then be at peace with that. Come to peace with that if it feels like your greatest contribution is to be with those you care about as all of this crumbles, that's a valid choice. And to bring your light, to bring your love, whatever calm you can bring to that process, very, very important. Very important that many of the light bearers will be in the ship as it sinks. And some of us have gotten off and we're creating something new in the new land. But it's obviously not going to be possible for that many to do that. So either way, what again is so important is that whatever we're doing as we take our stand, we want to still bring as much of this new earth consciousness to that position. Okay, that means acceptance, gratitude, so it's just like if you're facing your death, literally, if you're the death of your body and person, you want ideally, and I remember Kubler-Ross, she went through the whole thing, the stages of death, that we want to go through this process where we accept and then bring gratitude, because the idea would be if you're ending your time as a human on earth, you want to bring that experience to a beautiful blessing as it ends. So you want to bring acceptance and gratitude possibly enthusiasm, especially if you can hear what I'm saying about what's coming as you drop your body. There's reason to be very enthusiastic about that process. So again, I and others like me, we want to support everyone as they go through this transformation, whether they do it with the body or without the body.